the OPUBCO studios in Oklahoma City, you're watching the Press Row. We are brought to you by Papa John's Pizza. You can go online right now and order at papajohns.com. I'm Jenny Carlson. He's Barry Trammell. We're going to pick 5 games in our weekly We Pick 'em segment. Let's get to it with South Carolina at Missouri. Who you got, Barry?
Well, fool me twice, shame on you. I've picked against the Missouri Tigers 2 straight weeks. Not going to do it this time. Missouri's run the gauntlet. They beat Georgia 2 weeks ago, beat Florida last week. Now if they beat South Carolina, they've completed the sweep of the Eastern Division favorites in the SEC. Missouri's going to win the SEC East anyway, I think. But the Tigers have shown they're probably the best team in that division. Gary Pinkel's doing an excellent job. Second year in the SEC. Had to go with a new quarterback last week. Still got it done. I like the Tigers.
Yeah, I did the same as Barry. Picked against Missouri the last couple of weeks. I'm done with that. Tigers all the way. And by the way, there was an outside chance before Auburn upset A&M last week that had we gotten some help and somebody beat Alabama, it might have been Missouri and A&M in the SEC championship game. It would have taken a lot of finagling, but still, if the old Big 12 foes would have met in the SEC championship game.
Who says we don't have a Big 12 title game anymore?
That's right. All right, let's go out west, Barry. UCLA goes to Oregon. Who you got in this one?
Well, I've got the Ducks. UCLA went to Stanford last week, played okay and lost. If you can't win at Stanford, you're not winning at Oregon. Oregon might be the nation's best team. UCLA's done a very nice job, but that Oregon offense and the Oregon defense playing at a very high level. I think the Ducks win big.
Yeah, I've got Oregon in this one too, and I agree. I think they're starting to emerge as really the team. Now, Alabama could very well beat them in a bowl game because you never doubt Nick Saban when he's got that long to prepare. The thing about Oregon is it seems like every year when they've got these really good teams, they have a game somewhere they're supposed to win that they lose. This feels like that type of game that could potentially jump up and get them. So I hope Oregon is on upset alert because every year they seem to just have a game they can't quite get over. If they get over UCLA, the road continues to go for them. All right, what about this Big 12 matchup, Barry? Texas at TCU. Who are you picking there?
Well, I've got the Longhorns, and I tell you, I'm not a big believer in Texas. I think they played over their head in the Cotton Bowl. However, TCU just can't score. TCU cannot move the ball. I've seen them twice live. They've been very pedestrian on offense. They can't throw. Their running game is solid, but you can stack against it. I think Texas will. I like the Longhorns.
Yeah, I'm going with Texas as well, and for the exact same reasons. I think Texas has probably got the best wins of anybody in the Big 12, and that's basically built around that fact that they went to the Cotton Bowl and beat OU. But TCU has just shown a total inability to do anything offensively. I don't think Texas is going to run the table or anything like that. I don't think they're going to win the Big 12, but TCU, we've just seen Casey Payhall's injury continue to just really drag down TCU. Without him at quarterback, that offense is going nowhere, and I don't think TCU is going anywhere either. All right, Barry, what about the game up in Ames? OSU returns to Iowa State for the first time since that devastating Friday night loss a couple years ago.
Well, I'm going to take OSU. I think Iowa State's in disarray. It won't be easy. It never is in Ames for much of anybody. Texas gets up there and lucky to get a good, a favorable call, a 1-point win. But I think the Cowboys are so much better than Iowa State. Cyclones coming off the 71-7 loss at Baylor. Cyclones in a lot of ways in disarray. So I think the Cowboys catch Iowa State at a very good time.
Yeah, and I tell you what, the Cowboys will be thinking about that game a couple years ago. There's no doubt about that. I got OSU in this one as well. I think Iowa State at home, Paul Rhodes, the defense will come out and play pretty well for Iowa State. But here's where it's different this year in my mind than 2 years ago. This OSU defense is legit. A couple years ago, they got a lot of turnovers. They clearly had a nice defense. But I think this OSU defense can win ball games if need be. And I think if Iowa State does stand up and make it a close game, I think that OSU defense can get the job done. 2 years ago, didn't happen. They did not get the job done when they had to. So I got OSU. I think in the locker room behind closed doors, they may not admit it, but they're going to be talking about 2 years ago. And the guys that went up there are going to be motivated to make sure that does not happen again. All right, lastly, Barry, top 10 Texas Tech comes to Norman. Who you got in this one?
Well, I've got the Sooners. I don't know that that Bob Stoops' team's a world beater yet or ever get there. But I think Texas Tech's very overrated. The schedule's virtually been nothing but cream puffs. Tech, the defense, very untested. Best quarterback Tech's played against is Garrett Gilbert. Blake Bell will be the best quarterback that Tech has faced. Everybody's down on Blake, but he's going to be the best that Tech has faced.
He's no Garrett Gilbert, Barry.
I think the Sooners are going to win. I think it'll be pretty tough. I think Tech's solid in all areas, but a top 10 team, no.
Yeah, and by no Garrett Gilbert, I mean he's a lot better than Garrett Gilbert. OU wins this one in my mind as well. Yeah, Texas Tech at 10. Undefeated, that tends to happen. Midway through the season, a team sort of rises to that level because the number of undefeateds is not as great, but they just haven't played. They haven't played enough good competition to feel like this is a legitimate top 10 team. Now, I do think Oklahoma's got a challenge in front of them. I think it's going to be important that they get out and get going offensively. Don't give Texas Tech a chance to get out to a lead like Kansas did a week ago. If Tech goes up a couple touchdowns quickly, that could be a different story. So OU needs to get out offensively. If their defense is going to struggle at the start, they're going to have trouble getting lined up, which why wouldn't they against Tech's offense to some extent, then OU's offense, the focus is going to be on them to make sure they're not going 3 and outs. They can't just get out there, go right back to the sidelines. They've got to get some yards. They've got to get some points. I think that is going to be crucial early, even against a team that's vastly overrated. All right, be sure to stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoman.